to our channel. Today I am doing something a little bit different for you guys. I'm doing a get ready with me where I do a birthday edition of just a makeup idea that I had. But today is my birthday, so I took the day off and I figured I would just dress up and do my makeup, which is not really something that I do anymore during COVID. So with that being said, I thought I would just chat with you and kind of show you my usual makeup routine. Plus, I am going to kind of glam it up and do a brand new eyeshadow that I'm thinking will be more like a sunset, so bright oranges, kind of yellows, reds, that kind of thing. I've never done it before, but I'm excited to try. So if it turns out terribly, hopefully you'll look over the execution and enjoy the video. This right here is my go-to sunscreen for my face. It's kind of dirty right now, but it's the Supergoop SPF 40 Unseen Sunscreen. It's water and sweat resistant. The reason why I love this sunscreen is that it's so light. There's no like residue on it. It's not sticky. It has kind of this kind of like really just translucent kind of feel to it, and you just kind of put it all over your face. What I like about this too is that it feels like a primer. So after you put it on, it's like you protect it from the sun, and it's also a built-in primer all in one, so I don't have to bother really putting on another primer most days. I'm just gonna put this all over my face. Okay, so next up is foundation. I have the Tarte Amazonian Clay in Light Sand. This is by far my most favorite foundation that I've ever tried. I've tried a bunch in my day, everything from Makeup Forever to NARS to MAC, etc. But what I love about this product is that it's so weightless. The texture of this is like mousse. It's so I don't know, so smooth and creamy, and it's really light, so it feels like you don't have anything on your face. Let me show you what it looks like here. It's like, when I say it's like mousse, it just feels very kind of aerated. There's not runny at all, but it has like the perfect just finish. So I'm gonna dab this just all over my face. I'm gonna look at my mirror here, and then I think the best thing for this is just to use your beauty blender. So I've already wet it a little bit. Now it's going to kind of blend it in, and I love that it looks really natural without being cakey. And this is why it looks natural. You can definitely build up the coverage. So if you want more full coverage, or if you have like blemishes or things like that, you can definitely build up and put more layers. But I don't know, I just love the way this looks, because I hate when foundation looks really cakey. Okay, and then if you want to add more, you definitely can. What I do next is actually go back over it with some concealer, specifically around my dark circles, some of the kind of the spots I have on my face from breakouts and things like that. I'm using the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. So I'm going to just put it underneath my eyes for those under eye areas, around my nose for some redness, and then around my chin as well. What's great about this is that you can really use this as a highlighter too. So if you wanted to contour and highlight, you could buy like a shade lighter than your actual face and use that for kind of the highlighted areas of your face as well. So this is a little bit lighter than my foundation, so this is also why I'm kind of putting it on the areas where I want more light to bounce off of. I'll preface also that I'm not an expert in makeup at all. I taught myself how to do makeup when I was in high school. I don't know if this is like a regular thing, but like from my experience, a lot of Asian mothers don't really like their children to wear makeup until they're older, and if they do, they want it to be natural looking. So I remember, you know, everyone in high school and even in middle school, like they would wear makeup and foundation and eyeliner, and I wasn't allowed to. So I actually, you know, would save up money and then buy makeup from like the drugstore and then hide it in my room, or like go to school and put it on and take it off before I came back, and it was a whole thing. But I remember a mom she found my stash one day and made me like throw it all out, which I did, and then I promptly repurchased, you know, a few days later. But so yeah, I learned most of my makeup from YouTube, to be honest, which there's so many tutorials now that, you know, that's kind of the way to do it, I feel like. I'm gonna use the Fenty Beauty. This is in the shade Mocha, and this is just a contour stick. You can apply it right on the cheekbones and other areas of your face you want to add shadow, but I prefer to use the brush. So this is a Sephora brush. It's the 204. That's kind of angled, and it also has just like a fluffy brush on the end. So I'm going to use the angled side and just dab some product, and then really focus on hitting kind of the cheekbone area. So over here. So next we're going to move on to the eyebrows. This is actually my least favorite part of doing makeup because I think it's so hard to get right, and you know, it's true what they say, your eyebrows are sisters, not twins, so most often they don't look the same, whatever. This is the product that I use for my eyebrows. It's called Nyx Microbrow Pencil in Ash Brown. You can see here. This is kind of like a cheaper dupe of the Anastasia Brow Wiz, which is really popular. This is like, you know, 9 or 10 bucks. You can buy it on Amazon. But I find that I like the precision of this, and I like the color. It blends in really well. So I'm just going to start off by, you know, brushing my eyebrows up so there's more of a uniformity, and it's, you know, all brushed and be ready to draw on. I have pretty naturally like thin hair, so I don't have a lot of like hair on the outsides. I don't really pluck it or anything like that often, so I just have to draw it in. You can see what this pencil looks like here. It's a little twistable one. So what I start off by doing is just first of all kind of drawing the shape on the outer parts of my eyebrows, and then kind of doing the same on the upper side, and then kind of just closing both sides so that I make kind of the tail end of my eyebrow. You can kind of see the shape starting to form, and then with that I'll just kind of continue to follow that line, dragging it towards the inner side of my eyebrow, and then just lightly penciling it in, making small strokes. You don't want it to be too dark because we're going to be kind of you know, smoothing it out with our spoolie, but go ahead and do that, most of it, and then kind of leave this area a bit thinner in color because it looks more natural when it's lighter, and it kind of grows out to be more darker on the outside. So with your spoolie here, you can then kind of brush out and brush in the color towards the inside of your eyebrows, and I think that keeps it kind of looking more natural, because sometimes when you see eyebrows, they're like just really thick dark lines on your face, and I feel like sometimes that can look a bit, you know, like kind of out there, but again, I like more of the natural, neutral looking kind of shapes for my face. You might need to kind of play around with it a little bit. Again, this is my least favorite part because it can take me a while to make sure that it's even and everything. Okay, so you can kind of see how that looks. There you go. And then now we're gonna do the same on the other side. The brow gel that I'm using is the NYX, again, Professional Makeup. This is also, I think, is there a color for this? No, but it is the Tinted Brow Mascara. It's the color Brunette. So it looks kind of like mascara because it has the little spoolie with the hairs, but you'll just kind of lightly, sometimes I like to kind of just brush the excess off on the lid and then just lightly go over the hairs, and it'll kind of help the color blend a little better, and then also will help keep the hairs in place as well. Another trick is if you don't want more color on them, you could also just get like a clean mascara brush like this and spray some hairspray on it, and then do that over your brows too, and it'll also give it that stay. I have Scotch tape, which is kind of weird, but I like to use this because when I'm doing more precise, like angled or winged eyeshadow, I find that this really helps me find a more defined line when I draw on the color. So what I'll do is actually tape the Scotch tape from the lower outside corner up like this, so it gives you kind of that angle that you like to use as a guideline when you're filling in the color. So I want to look here and then tape it like this, and again it gives you kind of that little shape that is what you want. You don't have to do this, but again, when I'm going to do more precise color, I find that this is helpful. Otherwise it looks just kind of like blotchy and I don't blend all that well. Same thing here. Try to keep it kind of somewhat symmetrical. Looks kind of weird. So the first thing we'll do is use a base color as a primer. So I'm going to just be using this. This is the Subculture Anastasia palette, which I love. It has a lot of cool kind of metallics and earthy tones, which is kind of what I usually prefer. But I'll be using this Dawn. It's like a nice little taupe color. I'm just going to use my finger and just brush it all over the lid as kind of a base color, especially when you're using more bright colors that you want to stand out. Having a lighter color to kind of basically be your palette is really helpful. It's kind of similar in painting when sometimes you want to paint bright colors over the medium that you're using. You'll usually paint first a layer of white, and then it helps the color stand out a bit more. So just all over the lid here. Doesn't have to be too precise. Okay, so you can kind of barely tell that color. So this is the palette that I'll be using mainly for the sunset looking eyeshadow. This is brand new. It's my first time using it. It's the Violet Voss See You Later palette. And I got this one because I just wanted to try experimenting with brighter colors. You can see here that there's a lot of fun colors in here. There's some glitter ones, oops, some glitter. There's also, you know, more of the matte kind of colors that you see here. What I think we'll be using today is probably some of the coral, the red tide, maybe some shoreline, and then maybe from the outside color, maybe adding a bit more of a darker, but we'll kind of see what that looks like first. And what I typically do is, because my eyes are hooded, meaning I don't have a large crease, I have to find more ways to add color and make more dimension, because again, I don't have the crease that really gives you that added layer of dimension. So what I'll do first is go in with a lighter color. These are my little Sailor Moon brushes that my friend bought me. It's kind of a fun story. We gifted each other the same thing without knowing that we were, and we both wanted it. So we actually got what we wanted. I'm gonna use the Coral Kiss, again this color here, and then just kind of using my brush, dab it on and then tap it, and then just focus on more of the center and then kind of inwards. So and we're just looking for a light, kind of just a light layer of color first. You can already see that it's pretty pigmented. I think it looks really pretty as a color, so I think I might add a little bit more in the middle. I want to keep it, again, more natural looking. And you kind of see what I mean here, because again, I'm using this Scotch tape as the guideline for knowing how to blend it. So when I typically do more, you know, precise eyeshadow, I like to have more of an angled kind of line here, and this helps me give me that. Okay, I'm gonna do the same on the other eye. Kind of, again, starting in the middle, tapping in the color, and then just blending it out with the same brush. This is my first time doing a makeup tutorial, so if I'm not explaining things correctly, I apologize. If you like this kind of stuff, let me know and I'll do more. I find that doing makeup for my eye shapes like mine in particular are very difficult, and there are tutorials out there, but there's not like a ton. So having to kind of take looks that I like and redoing it for my type of eye has been challenging sometimes. Okay, so here's what this base layer looks like. So now we're going to actually add more orange. So again, we're looking for that sunset kind of gradient. We're going to be using the red tide here and putting that on the outside corners. So let's see what this looks like. It's really pigmented, which is nice. And just kind of lightly dab that on here, and then starting from the outside corner, I'm just gonna add it as kind of that dimension. It gives you more of like a shadow or a crease, you know, kind of a look. So it's pretty bright. It actually looks almost more red, but it looks good. Okay, I'd add a little bit more on there. Okay, so you can kind of see the difference. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. So again, focusing on the outer corner and then kind of blending it in, because we want to keep the orange color in the middle more prominent. So next thing we'll do is add some more dimension to the outer corners of the eye. So what I'll do is actually use the Tropical Storm color here, which is obviously darker and more of an earthy tone than the orange. And I'm going to use the same brush, I think, and then just again tap that color in here, and then just focus on the outside kind of V-shaped area. And with like if your eyes are hooded like mine, it's more important to again add those layers of shadows to give your eyelid a bit more kind of dimension, so it looks like it has more of a crease. Same thing on this side. What it looks like. Now it's looking a little bit more one note, so I want to add some yellows now to the color. So we're focusing on probably the shoreline here, and then perhaps maybe also some of the beach sand more for the inner corners. So let me take I'm gonna actually take my hand, just dab it into the shoreline and kind of put that towards the middle and then the inside corner of the eye. So here, and then dragging it down. I'm already kind of seeing a little bit more of that gradient by doing that. And I like to use my hands. It's kind of actually how I learned how to do eyeshadow. I never really used brushes until a couple years ago. It's just easier to control for me, I think. So you can kind of see more of the yellow tones in there. Let me do the same for the other eye. So we're almost done. We're gonna actually remove the tape here. And as you can see, there's a really kind of sharp line. And I actually like the way it looks. You'll notice that we have a lot of color on the top of the lid, but not more on the bottom. So what we'll do is go back in with the brush that we had earlier, or a smaller one, and then I'm going to take the red Tide and start lining the bottom of the eyeshadow, bottom of the lid, kind of from the outside corner in, maybe like a third on both sides, to again kind of match and balance out the colors that we have going on at the top. So slightly just connect it with the crease that we made, and just kind of like blend it in. So it looks like this. We'll do that on the opposite side as well. My battery died, but we are back. Next step, so we're done with the eye makeup for now. We're actually going to go back in and do some eyeliner. I have the Revlon Colorstay line. It's a brush liner. Not my favorite. I think I prefer the Stila in black, but this is what I had left. So I'm gonna just do a cat eye coming in from, again, the outer corners where the eyeshadow is, and then coming in halfway to meet the center of my eye. So I can show you here. I start off by just kind of sketching in the cat eye here. And just follow my lash line. Okay, there you go. You can definitely make it thicker if you want. So I'll do the same on the other side. Let dry a little bit. I'm going to add some inner highlights to the inner corners of my eyelids with the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in white, or in milk. So I'm going to pull down my eyelids a little bit and just put it on the inner corners. And this helps brighten up your eye. Makes you look a bit more alert, awake, which is always nice. Just kind of like smooth it out with your hand. I'm going to actually go in with some finishing powder. This is the Kat Von D. translucent powder. I've had this for a long time. I'll probably switch brands after I get done with it, but it's not bad. I don't love it, but it's very lightweight. It seems to do a decent job of keeping my face matte for the most part. So I'm just gonna brush it and kind of buff it in all over my face. The e.l.f. palette in Rosy Flush. It has two colors. One is kind of a rose, kind of orange gold, and this is more of a neutral color. I want to use this one. Taking my angle brush again, tapping it in and tapping it off, and then finding, instead of the cheekbones, kind of the fleshy part of the cheek, kind of the apple of the cheek. So I'm gonna lightly brush that in here, going back for more pigment if I need to, and then doing the same on the other side. And then the last part of the face is just some highlighter. This is the Laura Geller Easy Illuminating Stick in Gilded Honey. It's just a stick that has a cream shimmer. You can kind of see it here, maybe. I don't know if you can tell. There's like a small little shimmer that happens. I'm gonna put this along the bridge and then kind of the tip of my nose. Again, adding that dimension. Put it on the upper cheekbone area. You can also put it on your cupid's bow here. And then using my hand, I'm just gonna rub that out gently and kind of pat it in on all the parts that I applied that. And that's the highlight. You can also put highlight right here, which I might do, kind of on the brow bone here, and do the same thing where you tap it in. Alright, so that is done. Next is the eyelashes. So because this eyeshadow is pretty, bright, I'm gonna go in with some fake lashes. I don't have any lashes really, so this is always great. I use the Velour. These are the Mini Me Effortless lashes, and I really like these. These are natural enough for my eye shape. They're easy to apply. The Tarte eyelash glue, so I'm going to just apply that to the lash. And applying lashes just takes some patience and a couple of tries sometimes. I'm going to take this and just apply it to the lash line here. Especially make sure you apply enough on the inner and outer parts of the lash, because I find that that's where it typically likes to come off first. Make sure it's well applied here. And I'm going to wait a little bit until it gets a little tacky, and then I'll just apply that directly to my lash line. Okay, lashes are on. Here's the finished product. I think it really livens up your eyes, so I like the look of these. These are a bit more glam. I haven't really found a natural pair yet, but I think this does the job. So next is going to be the lips. So this is just a kind of a mini lip liner from Sephora in the color, what's that color? Nude Beige. Really great for kind of rosy mauve kind of lips, but it'll work for any other color too. Just have to blend it in a little bit more. Line that a little bit. And then I'll kind of just like lightly drag in the liner with my finger, so it doesn't really leave an obvious line. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with my lipstick and just kind of apply that. And this is a really nice kind of coral color. I don't really like super dark lipstick, so I'm just gonna like lightly dab it on. So there's pigment, but it's not like this thick coat of lipstick. And then I'll just use my finger to kind of drag it around. So this is the final look. I added some lip color. Super just sunny and vibrant, a lot of oranges. But yeah, I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know. And if you want me to do more makeup tutorials or just play around with makeup, let me know as well. I had fun. So thanks so much for watching. Bye!